Time is not your friend. Time is not your enemy. Time is a mirror cold, honest and indifferent. It reflects what you do, not what you meant to do. It multiplies your habits. It rewards your discipline. It punishes your delay. Time is not a resource, it is the resource. You don't spend time, you trade it. Every second you live is an exchange. For what? Comfort? Progress? Clarity? Chaos? You choose. And the price is final. No refunds, no rewinds, no negotiations. You must understand, you are not running out of time, you are already deep in the transaction. And the question is not whether time is moving. The question is, are you? Most people are not living, they are delaying, waiting for the right moment, waiting for more energy, more clarity, more permission. But time waits for no one. Time is the ultimate equalizer. It gives the rich and the poor the same 24 hours. And then it watches. It watches who wastes it and who weaponizes it. You think you have time, then why aren't you moving? Why are your dreams still on the shelf? Why are your habits still up for debate? You don't have time, you have decisions. And if you don't master time, time will master you. It will crush your intentions beneath distractions. It will trade your potential for entertainment. It will steal your future in small, invisible thefts in minutes here. A lazy hour there until one day you wake up not in regret, but in realization. Time did not take your life. You gave it away. So stop saying, I don't have time. Start saying, I didn't make time, and then own it, because ownership is the only way out. You cannot manage what you do not take responsibility for. You cannot grow in what you refuse to measure. How do you spend your first hour? Your last? What does your calendar say about your character, your habits, your hunger? Because every minute you live is either an investment or a withdrawal. It's either building the life you said you wanted, or it's silently constructing a life you'll one day want to escape. And here's the truth they don't tell you. Time will not slow down for you to catch up. It will not pause while you figure things out. It will not stop while you heal, while you plan, while you overthink. It keeps moving. And the ones who master it, they don't wait for the perfect time. They make time work for them. They become ruthless with their energy. They become intentional with their yes and sacred with their no. They don't entertain drama. They don't worship urgency. They move by design, not default. And that's the difference between the average and the elite, not talent, not luck, but rhythm. The elite live by rhythm. Daily, disciplined, deliberate rhythm. Wake, move, create, reflect, repeat. While others are busy reacting, they are executing. While others are guessing, they are calculating. While others are scrolling, they are building. Why? Because they've learned to master the one thing that controls all things time. And mastering time is not about cramming more into your day. It's about carving your day into something meaningful. It's about doing fewer things with more focus. It's about being present where you are not just physically, but mentally, emotionally, purposefully. It's about saying, if I'm here, I'm all in. No half living, no divided attention, no wasted presence. Because presence is your superpower, and presence requires time mastery. You can't be present if you're always behind. You can't be present if you're drowning in clutter, mental clutter, emotional clutter, digital clutter. You want freedom? Declutter your time. Audit your hours. Find out where your focus is bleeding. You want growth? Dominate your schedule. Not with tasks, but with intention. You want transformation? Then understand this. Your future is not waiting somewhere out there. Your future is hiding inside how you treat your next hour. Do you scroll or do you study? Do you drift or do you drive? Do you complain or do you create? Because time is not measured in minutes, it's measured in movement. And if you're not moving forward, you're falling behind, period. There is no neutral in time. It only moves one way. So ask yourself right now, what are you doing with the time you've been given? Are you spending it on people who feed your fire or on those who drain your soul? Are you building something that will matter in a year, In 10 years, or just chasing the comfort of the next hour? Are your routines aligned with your dreams, or are they just familiar? Because the brutal truth is this: comfort has a cost, and time will charge you interest. Every dream you delay gets more expensive. Every excuse adds weight. Every moment of procrastination builds a wall between who you are and who you could be. And the worst part? You won't feel it until it's too high to climb, until time turns into regret. And regret is a prison with no bars, just mirrors. Don't let that be your story. Master time, or be mastered by it. Because when you master time, you no longer chase success, it begins to chase you. You become magnetic not because you're louder, but because you're more precise. The world senses when someone moves with clarity, when their hours are shaped like arrows pointed, sharp, unflinching. There's a kind of gravity and discipline. And it all begins with the decision to no longer live by accident. Living by accident is easy. Just follow the crowd. Wake up reactive. Say yes to everything. Let other people's priorities become your emergency. Let your phone dictate your attention. Let your feelings run the show. And by sundown, your life has been lived for you, not by you. But the moment you flip the script, everything changes. When you master your morning, you set the tone for the day, not the news, not the notifications, not the noise. You become proactive, strategic, sovereign. You stop leaking energy. You stop spilling hours on things that do not grow you, do not build you, do not align with the life you're building. And here's the secret. Most people are not lazy, they're distracted. They're exhausted not from doing too much, but from doing too little of what matters. From scattering their time across trivial tasks, meaningless meetings, and digital addictions. From living wide but never deep. Always busy, never productive. But not you. Not anymore. You weren't born for chaos. You were born for clarity. And clarity comes from order, from intention, from the sacred rhythm of mastering your time before the world grabs it from your hands. And how do you begin? You audit your day like your life depends on it, because it does. You track what matters. You cut what doesn't. You replace distraction with design. You build systems that protect your purpose. You protect your mornings. You own your evenings. You make time for silence, for reading, for reflection, not just to recharge, but to remember who you are. Because in a world addicted to noise, your quiet focus is rebellion. Your stillness is strength. Your calm is commanding. You learn to say nah, not because you're rude, but because you're rare. You know your time is finite. You know your mission is sacred. And you refuse to let the urgent bury the important. You calendar your priorities, not your distractions. You schedule your life around becoming, not around busyness. You set your goals like anchors, then build your days like ships disciplined, resilient, windproof. And when setbacks come, you don't crumble. You adjust. You pivot. You realign. Because time mastery is not about rigidity, it's about agility. The most powerful people aren't the ones who never fall off track. They're the ones who know how to get back fast, how to reset without shame, how to forgive themselves quickly and move with even greater resolve. That's the rhythm of mastery. Not perfection, but progression. Not obsession, but alignment. And you don't do it alone. You build a circle that respects time. Friends who grow with you, not pull you backward. Conversations that expand your mind, not shrink your energy. Environments that reflect your next level, not your last version. Because your environment is either speeding you up or slowing you down. And every second you tolerate slow, distracted, disordered energy, you are leaking potential. Your time is a container. It will fill with whatever you allow. So allow only what fuels you, only what lifts you, only what echoes your deepest values. Because when time is mastered, everything changes. Your health changes, your focus sharpens, your confidence expands, your influence grows, not because you did more, but because you did what mattered, on repeat, without apology. And that consistency, it compounds quietly, at first, then loudly. At first, no one will notice. Then everyone will. First, you'll be mocked for your schedule. Then, you'll be studied for your results. First, it will feel hard. Then, it will feel holy. Because the greatest freedom in the world is not doing what you want whenever you want. It's having the power to do what matters most precisely when it needs to be done. That is mastery. That is leadership. That is the truth about time. And once you live from that truth, you never go back. Because once you taste time mastery, you realize this isn't about control. It's about liberation. You're not organizing your time to restrict your life. You're doing it to unlock it. You're not setting boundaries to limit your experience. You're building a fortress so your genius can roam free. Without structure, your potential is scattered. It drips out of your days like a slow leak, unnoticed until the tank is empty. But with structure, your hours become weapons. Focused, lethal, transformative. And when you get this, when it finally clicks, you stop negotiating with time. You start commanding it. You wake up with presence and no panic. You work with peace, not pressure. You move with power, not noise. Because power isn't in doing everything. It's in doing the essential relentlessly. And the essential is always what builds you, not what entertains you, not what numbs you, not what gets you temporary applause, but what strengthens your spirit, sharpens your skill, and stretches your vision. So what do you need to cut? What needs to go today, not tomorrow, to make room for the life you said you wanted? Because time mastery is about subtraction before it's about addition. It's about deleting the distractions, the habits, the people, the thoughts that dilute your direction. You think the clock is your enemy, but the real enemy is everything stealing your attention. So you make cuts with precision, with resolve, like a sculptor removing stone not because you hate the block, but because you love the masterpiece inside it. And you don't apologize. You don't explain. You don't wait for the world to understand. Because mastery doesn't explain itself. It proves itself. Over time, through results, through presence, through consistency. You see, you don't find your calling. You carve it. One decision at a time, 1 hour at a time, one day, lived with depth and direction. You become the kind of person whose time tells a story of grit, of grace, of unshakable clarity. A story that says, I didn't just live, I built. I didn't just dream, I executed. I didn't just talk, I moved. And when your life becomes that story written hour by hour, decision by decision, you don't need more time. You become more with the time you have. And that is the highest form of wealth. Not more things, not more attention, but more life in your life. A life that reflects who you were meant to be, not who you settled for. A life where the hours aren't escaped from, they're poured into. A life that doesn't just pass through time, but pierces it, imprints it, shifts it. So no more waiting, no more drifting, no more wondering where the time went. Take it back, master it, or be mastered by it. The choice is now. The power is yours. And time is not watching with judgment, it's watching with precision. It keeps no secrets. It hides no bias. It records only what you give it. It multiplies what you repeat. It echoes what you prioritize. You don't need to be perfect. You need to be deliberate. Because time doesn't demand perfection. It demands stewardship. The quiet, sacred, powerful act of honoring what you have instead of mourning what you don't. It's not about how many hours you have. It's about what you're doing with the ones you've already been given. And the truth is, you are already rich with time. More than enough to build, to grow, to transform. The poverty is not in the hours, it's in the habits. It's in how casually we treat what is costing us everything. If someone stole your money every day, you'd fight. You'd defend it. But time, we give it away with a swipe, a scroll, just 5 more minutes. We lose days to nothing and then cry that nothing ever changes. But that ends now. You're not here to be casual. You're here to be conscious. You're here to live with such ferocity of focus that time bends to your intention. And when you dial in, You rise with resolve and move with mastery, you'll feel the shift. Life opens, not because time gave you more, but because you finally stopped leaking what was always enough. You'll walk lighter not because your life is easier, but because your mind is clearer. You'll speak with weight, not volume. You'll move with peace, not panic. And others will notice. They'll ask how you do so much, how you stay grounded, how you build, grow, and lead without burning out. And you'll know the truth. It's not about doing more. It's about deciding better. It's about waking up every day and saying, this is my time, my moment, my mission. And I refuse to waste another second living out of alignment with who I was born to become. Because when you live like that, when your hours are a reflection of your values, your time becomes holy. And when time becomes holy, so does your life. So go now. Not to work harder, but to work truer. Not to do more, but to do what matters. Not to chase time, but to master it. Because in the end, it's not about how much time you had. It's about who you became with the time you were given. And your time is now. That single word is the gate, the ignition, the bridge between who you are and who you're meant to become. Not later, not when it's convenient, not when the conditions are perfect. Now, because delay is a dream killer dressed in the language of logic, it will convince you that you need more research, more reassurance, more readiness. But the truth is, you're ready the moment you decide to be. Now is your weapon. Now is your revolution. Every transformation that ever mattered began with a now that refused to wait. You don't overcome time by wishing it were different. You overcome time by declaring that this moment is enough, that this breath is sacred, that this hour will be honored. So write the page, make the call, take the step. Let it be messy, let it be imperfect, but let it be now. Because tomorrow is not promised. Next year is not guaranteed. Someday is not a plan. And when your time runs out and will it be said of you, they used it well. They didn't drift. They didn't coast. They didn't drown in distraction or die in indecision. They chose. They built. They rose. And in that rise, they became. This is the truth about time. It is not the thief. It is the test. And how you answer that test is how you shape your legacy. So take your calendar and carve it with courage. Take your hours and fill them with fire. Take your minutes and let them matter. Because mastery isn't an accident. It's a pattern, a rhythm, a relentless refusal to let time be your master. So what do you do now? You rise. You realign. You re-enter your life with urgency, not panic, but purpose. Because the clock is ticking, but your potential is roaring. And when those two forces collide, time and intention, you don't just change your schedule. You change the world. One sacred second at a time. And if you listen closely beneath the ticking of the clock, beneath the noise of the world, you'll hear something else. It's not pressure. It's not panic. It's the sound of potential, unfolding, awakening, waiting. It's the quiet voice that says, you were made for more. Not more busyness, not more comparison, more meaning, more depth, more impact. And that voice, that whisper, it's the sound of time calling you to rise not in frenzy, but in focus. Because time is not just a currency, it's a canvas. And you, my friend, are the artist. So paint with bold colors. Move with firm strokes. Stop sketching outlines of the life you want and start creating it with courage. No more hesitating at the edge of your greatness. No more blaming time for what fear has delayed. No more giving your best hours to things and people that don't feed your future. You know what to do. You've always known. The clock doesn't lie. The calendar doesn't wait. And the world doesn't stop turning because you need more time to think about it. The life you want, it's not out there. It's already within you, buried beneath distraction, buried beneath doubt, buried beneath the illusion that time is something you manage instead of something you master. So choose today. Not the someday version of you. The right now, blood in your veins, fire in your bones version of you. The one that dares to stop chasing time and starts commanding it. Because that's where the real power is. Not in the hours, but in the hands that shape them. Not in the years, but in the decisions that define them. Not in time itself, but in the soul that finally chooses to live it. And when that choice is made, truly made, then time becomes what it was always meant to be. Not a master, but a mirror, reflecting back a life that wasn't just lived, but led. Intentionally, boldly, relentlessly, by you. Now go. And don't just master your time. Make it unforgettable. Because that's the legacy, isn't it? Not how many years you lived, but how deeply you lived them. Not how full your calendar was, but how full your days felt. Not how many people you impressed, but how many lives you impacted, starting with your own. Time doesn't care about how much you dream. It watches what you do. And when you master it, truly master it, you don't just rise in results. You rise in reverence for life, for breath, for every second you're gifted to be here, becoming something more. You start walking with weight, every step intentional, every conversation meaningful, every project, every plan, every pursuit built on the bones of clear priorities and relentless follow-through. You no longer live by the hour. You live by your highest values. You stop counting minutes and start making minutes count. You don't just run out the clock, you run the play. You move with vision. You act with power. You protect your time, not because you're busy, but because you're building. And when people ask why you're so focused, why you guard your mornings, why you say no to distraction with such ease, you'll smile. Because you'll know something they haven't realized yet. That time is your partner in greatness. It's not holding you back. It's inviting you forward. It's not your enemy, it's your edge. And if you honor it, if you shape it, sharpen it, stretch it, it will give you everything. Not all at once, but moment by moment, choice by choice, one decisive hour at a time. Until one day, you look around not surprised, but certain, because you didn't wish for this life. You built it on purpose, with discipline, with urgency, with a sacred reverence for the only resource you could never get back, and the only one you ever truly needed. Time. Master it, or be mastered by it. The choice is yours. And in the end, it will not be the applause, the awards, or the attention that defines your story. It will be the hours no one saw, the mornings you rose while others slept, the moments you chose silence over noise, the days you sacrificed fleeting comfort for future strength. Because that's what time mastery really is. It's invisible at first. It's in the decision to work while it's quiet, to plan while others drift, to build when no one's watching. And slowly those invisible hours become the foundation of an unshakable life. The kind of life that doesn't just survive the seasons, it commands them. The kind of life that doesn't shrink in adversity, it sharpens in it. The kind of life that doesn't hope for success, it expects it, because it was built hour by hour, brick by brick, with a kind of ruthless grace that only comes from someone who decided to stop waiting and start winning. This is your reminder. You don't need more time. You need more clarity. You don't need longer days. You need stronger direction. You don't need to chase the clock. You need to command it with the full authority of someone who has chosen to lead their life, not just live it. So take this moment, this breath, this blink, in time and decide. Decide to rise. Decide to focus. Decide to build. Not next week. Not next month. Now, because every second is either fueling your greatness or feeding your regret. And time is watching. It always has been. And now, it waits for your final answer. So what will your answer be? Will you spend your days just getting by, letting time slip through your fingers like grains of sand, soft, silent, irreversible? Or will you clench your fists, lift your eyes, and declare with every step, I will not waste what cannot be replaced? Because that's the ultimate truth about time. Once it's gone, it's gone. No apology can return it. No amount of regret can rewind it. And no one, not even the greatest among us, can escape the judgment of its passing. But the ones who live with power, with purpose, with presence. They don't fear time. They use it. They wrestle it. They master it. They make time bow to their mission. And when their time runs out, because it will, they leave echoes, not just memories. They leave blueprints, not just biographies. Because they made the time they had eternal. That's what's at stake. Not just your goals, your legacy. Not just your schedule, your soul. Not just productivity. Immortality, written in impact, in service, in example. And it all begins with a choice. A single, defiant, unbreakable decision to say, no more waiting, no more wishing, no more wasting. From this moment forward, I will master my time, or I will be mastered by it. And I will never be mastered again. Now breathe deep, stand tall, and go claim every second as sacred. Your time starts now, because now is all there ever was. Not someday, not when the stars align, not when life gets easier or when others finally understand. Now. The decision to rise is always made in the now, not by force but by fire. The fire that burns in your gut when you realize your time is finite and your life too precious to waste another heartbeat in hesitation. You are not waiting for a new chapter. You are the author. And every second is a pen stroke across the parchment of your legacy. So write with clarity. Write with conviction. Write with the urgency of someone who knows that eternity is shaped in moments just like this, ordinary seconds made extraordinary by the power of decision. This is not about time management. This is about time dominance. It's about declaring, I do not serve the clock. The clock serves my calling. And that calling, it's not somewhere far off in the future. It's right here, waiting in the stillness, in the silence, in the whisper of this breath. Answer it. Show up for it. Build for it. Because you're not just here to fill days, you're here to fulfill destiny. And destiny waits for no one. It's not for the convenient. It's not for the casual. It's for the committed. The ones who move while others talk. The ones who build while others break. The ones who decide again and again that their time is too sacred, their life too short, and their purpose too great to be lived in fragments. This is the moment. This is the mandate. This is your final reminder, your eternal truth. Master Timur, be mastered by it. But whatever you choose, let it be now where everything begins, where all your excuses dissolve and all your power is reclaimed, where fear no longer has the final word and your past no longer casts the longest shadow. Because when you fully step into now, you stop dragging yesterday's weight into today's potential. You stop carrying old stories into new chapters. You stop asking, can I? And start declaring, watch me. That is the posture of time mastery. Not hesitation, not negotiation, but bold, present, decisive movement every day, without fail, without apology. You were not born to manage time like it's a burden. You were born to bend it to your will, to stretch it with vision, to saturate it with meaning, to sculpt it with mastery. Because when you master time, your life becomes art, a canvas of intention, a sculpture of sacred repetition, a symphony of focus, purpose, and presence. So set your tempo. Let your life be music with rhythm, not noise. Let your days move with melody, your actions with harmony, your choices with deliberate, powerful percussion that says to the world, I am here, fully. I am aligned, deeply. I am rising relentlessly. And if you fall, you rise again, not with panic, but with purpose. Because mastery is not perfection. Mastery is commitment. Commitment to showing up again, to moving again, to choosing again, until your calendar reflects your character, until your time reflects your truth, until every second, every breath becomes a mirror of the life you were always meant to live. And when your final day comes, because it will, you will not look back with fear. You will not ask, what if? You will say, with peace and power, I used it all. I gave it all. I became it all. Because you made the decision to master time, to master life, to master yourself. And that decision, it changed everything. And now you understand this isn't just about hours on a clock. It's about how you carry yourself inside each hour, how you breathe purpose into the mundane, how you turn the ordinary into the sacred by choosing not to drift, but to direct. Time mastery is self-mastery. Because to govern your time, you must first govern your emotions. You must rise above the noise of doubt, the gravity of laziness, the comfort of delay. You must become the kind of person who acts out of purpose and at permission. You don't wait to feel motivated. You act because it's who you are. You don't hope for more time. You use what you have like it's all you'll ever get. Because it is. Every day is a canvas, every minute a brush stroke. And one day, the painting will be complete. And the world will look at your life and call it disciplineur. They'll call it wasted potential. Either way, they'll only be reflecting the truth you left behind in your time. So make it beautiful. Make it fierce. Make it worthy of the calling you've been given. And never forget, time never stops, but you can choose to start. Right here, right now. You don't need permission. You don't need more knowledge. You don't need the perfect plan. You need a decision, followed by action, fueled by clarity, repeated with resolve. Let your calendar reflect your calling. Let your habits mirror your hunger. Let your time speak the truth of who you are and who you refuse to die without becoming. The truth about time is simple. You either master it with fierce intention or it buries your dreams in silent indifference. So choose. Not tomorrow. Now. And once you choose, never look back. Because this is the beginning of everything. Everything you want. Every vision, every breakthrough, every shift you've ever dreamed of it lives on the other side of disciplined time. It is not hiding behind better luck, more talent, or easier conditions. It is waiting behind a wall of consistency. A wall built with your minutes, your choices, your will. You see, success is not some mountain you climb once. It is a rhythm you move to daily, a dance between clarity and action. And time is the beat that either breaks you or builds you. But now you know the truth. Time doesn't crush you. It reveals you. It reveals your values, your priorities, your self-respect, your future. You want to know what matters to someone? Don't ask. Look at their calendar. Look at their daily habits. Look at how they move through time when no one's watching. And then look in the mirror and ask, do my days match my destiny? Not your wishes, not your words, your days. Because that's where real life happens, not in intentions, but in hours. Not in potential, but in patterns. You can't lie to time. And you can't cheat it either. But you can shape it. You can train it. You can command it. That is the truth. That is the power. That is the path. The truth about time is this. It's always moving. The only question is, are you moving with it or falling behind it? Master it or be mastered by it. Because the clock is ticking, but so are you. So tick louder. Let your life be the answer to every second you've been given. Let your actions speak in a language time can't ignore. Bold, intentional, unshakable. Because the truth about time is that it belongs to no one. But greatness belongs to those who master it. To those who don't just count hours, but make hours count. To those who don't fear the end, because they know they've lived the middle with fire, with discipline, with soul. You are not behind. You are not too late. You are right on time for your becoming, but only if you choose. So stand up, take the pen, mark this moment. This is where the old you ends and the timeless you begins. This is where drifting dies and direction is born. This is where you no longer beg for time, but rise to command it, because the clock won't stop. But from this moment forward, you won't either. Now go and make time remember your name.